leading the nation in assists herself this year. She stepped into that point guard role admirably. In fact, she's got more assists in the first 4 games since Sue Bird back in the 2000s. Nika said, I'm doing whatever it takes for my team to succeed right now.
All right, Holly, thanks very much. So we'll keep an eye on Nika Mühl on both ends of the floor. She has stepped in to that point guard role in the absence of Beckers, who suffered an ACL injury in the summer. And this is a UConn team that is so much improved on defense. And even Gino Auriemma is impressed with what his team's been able to do on defense, and they'll be put to the test against this Iowa team that loves to push the basketball.
And it starts with Caitlin Clark. I'm really eager early in this game to see how Connecticut defends Caitlin Clark. Is it just with Nika Mühl? Do they trap her off screens? Do they switch? What are the different schemes they are going to use to slow her down? And then for Iowa, we know they're just going to change things up defensively, perhaps every time down the floor. Why? Because both of these teams can really fill it up offensively.
Iowa knocked off Oregon State on Friday in the semifinal. UConn with a victory over Duke Friday in the semis to set up this championship showdown at the Phil Knight Legacy. Iowa, the home team in white, and UConn, and we are underway here at the Moda Center in Portland. UConn going with the Road Blacks here today. 10 a.m. start in Portland, and an early turnover for Mühl, who has not turned the ball over very often this season. This starting 5 for Iowa should seem familiar because it's more like the Iowa Unicorns, because this is the 3rd year of the same starting 5 for the Hawkeyes. That just doesn't happen in basketball.
Yes, certainly not, and it's a group that has played together a lot, played well together. So you see right away, Nika Mühl has the defensive assignment, but they go inside to Sanano. She draws a double team. She is money. When she catches the ball that close to the basket, led the nation in field goal percentage the last 2 seasons.
Career 67% from the floor. She scores the game's first 2. Lou Lopez Seneschal in the starting 5 for Connecticut with Mühl, Aubrey Griffin, Leah Edwards, and AZ Fudd. This is one of the impressive newcomers to UConn's lineup, and Aubrey Griffin, as she does so well, keeps it alive on the glass, and a second chance here for Connecticut.
Such an emphasis yesterday, as you've seen Mühl drive to the basket. Such an emphasis in Iowa's practice. Box out. Do not give Connecticut second opportunities. They did on the last possession.
Iowa, very good 3-point shooting team. McKenna Warnock, a career 43% 3-point shooter, puts Iowa up 3.
McKenna Warnock was vital when these teams met in the Sweet 16 a couple of years ago. You saw Connecticut leave her to double inside. Important again for her to get going offensively.
Edwards, good adjustment to get her first 2. Aaliyah Edwards having an outstanding junior season. She was really good as a freshman, took a step back as a sophomore. She's taken 2 steps up now as a junior. Off the miss, here's Mühl. Again, they look to Edwards. Griffin leans in. Clark comes away. Clark and Sanano work so well together. Clark is fouled by Mühl, taking a 3-pointer, so 3 free throws coming for Caitlin Clark.
Nika Mühl does what you can't do against Caitlin Clark, and she goes behind the screen multiple times. Great job by the big, Monica Zanano, to screen, re-screen. Caitlin Clark does a beautiful job using it. A season ago, Nika Mühl was prone to foul trouble. She's been much better this year. It's really important. Vital for Connecticut for her to stay on the floor.
Well, Caitlin Clark, talking to her before the game, she said one of the things she worked on all summer was her strength and agility. She said, people are so physical with me defensively. I knew I had to get stronger. And just looking at her out here today, guys, look at her biceps, look at her quads. This is a different body than we saw in this matchup in the Sweet 16, and she's withstanding those smothering defenses much better.
Now, Holly, she said she had time to work on her body this offseason.
Not quite as string beanie as she has been in the past.
String beanie, is that the official
yes
designation? String beanie, got you. AZ Fudd can't get it to go, and then it's a mistake by Iowa looking to run. Sanano overthrows Clark, turnover for Iowa.
But if you're going to turn the basketball over against Connecticut, you want it to be a dead ball turnover like that. Because Connecticut will turn defense, steals into offense really quickly.
Edwards shows her range. She was really good in her mid-range game in that semifinal win 2 nights ago.
Yeah, against Duke in the second half, she came out and hit 15-footer after 15-footer.
Aubrey Griffin getting the hands in there to rip it away and a turnover. Mule. Edwards is the one who comes away with it. Warnock doubled in trouble. Back out to Gabby Marshall. Kate Martin. Clark's got an open look. Can't get it, and Edwards on the glass. One and done for Iowa. They will not contest on the offensive glass. They want to get back and get set on defense. Edwards. Aubrey Griffin again getting a hand in it. We've seen her on the offensive glass. We've seen her be disruptive defensively. Now she adds some offense.
Yesterday, Lisa Bluter telling her team, box out like your life depends on it. Connecticut has had success getting to the offensive glass.
Foul on Lou Lopez-Seneschal.
Aaliyah Edwards, the big player for Connecticut. I mean, does so many things well. Here she is open because she sets a good screen on AZ Fudd's defender. And then out in transition. I don't care if that pass is for you, AZ. I'm going to take it and go.
Edwards off to a great start. 6 points, 3 of 4 shooting, a couple of rebounds. Had 17 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists against Duke. Aubrey Griffin has been a difference maker for Connecticut here in the opening minutes of this first quarter.
Aubrey Griffin did not play a season ago because she was out recovering from back surgery, and she is an incredible athlete, probably the best athlete on the Connecticut team. And she is quick, anticipates well, jumps the route, goes the other way. Really good, as we've already seen, on the offensive glass as well. She just wreaks havoc.
Gina Auriemma being pulled back by associate head coach Chris Daly. He was out to midcourt protesting with the officials. It'll be UConn basketball on the side. Sydney Olfolter is into the game along with Molly Davis for Iowa. Here is Lou Lopez-Seneschal, her first season with Connecticut after playing at a high level for Fairfield in the MAC, an 8-0 run for UConn.
Really good staggered screen away, and Seneschal was open and hit it.
Huskies have stretched it to 6, trying to run it. Caitlin Clark read that pass, takes it back the other way, and Mule challenges her, but Clark with the finish.
Yeah, Nika Mule already with 1 foul, so she was smart, went behind where she couldn't get the foul call. Great finish by Clark.
Edwards, they continue to look to her, and she gets help with Griffin coming to the basket.
When the help comes from the other big and you're at the high post, which is where Griffin was, you have to dive, and it was just well executed there from big to big.
Clark on the cut, and one. Caitlin Clark will head to the free throw line to try to finish off the 3-point play. Second foul on Lou Lopez-Seneschal.
Just really good curl by Clark coming off of the Sonano screen. Defender is trailing, and good finish. And you heard Holly Rowe talk about it. Let's look at her biceps. Let's look at her quads. She is stronger and can absorb that contact and finish.
So Lou Lopez-Seneschal will stay out there with 2 personal fouls. Connecticut does not have a lot of help on the bench. Aaliyah Edwards, great first quarter for Edwards. Already 8 points on 4 of 5 shooting.
Gonna have to change the way you're guarding her. You have to respect her shot from there.
Addison O'Grady into the game. Bodies go flying into the Connecticut bench. Somewhere over there, Paige Beckers was avoiding contact. Paige looks okay. We'll hear from her when we come back to Portland next. Welcome back to the 9th meeting all time between Iowa and UConn. We take you back to the last meeting, 2021 NCAA Tournament, San Antonio, the freshman showdown. Caitlin Clark had 21, Paige Beckers had 18, and UConn had a 20-point victory to survive and advance in the NCAA tournament. See the numbers during that showdown, and we were really hoping to have that matchup here again today, but unfortunately Paige Becker suffered a season-ending knee injury in the summer, but Paige very much a part of this team. I believe Paige, as she breaks this huddle, can hear us and talk to us. How you doing, hype woman?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm excited for this game.
So in your role as hype woman and assistant coach, how's it gone so far? You're just a handful of games into the season. Have you adjusted to it? What's your role right now?
No, it's been good. We're undefeated right now, so it's been a strong start, but I'm just like the supporting guy for them. Obviously, they got a lot of coaches yelling at them and getting on them, so I'm just a supporter.
You've gone from player to assistant coach, supporter. I put your analyst hat on. What have you liked that you've seen so far in this game from your squad?
Very aggressive on the defensive end. Obviously got some early foul trouble, but I like the way we're being aggressive. Just like that, Aubrey! Just like that on defense, yeah!
I'm glad you didn't hold back, Paige. We want the full Paige experience.
This is real.
You have played against Caitlin Clark and been a competitor and friend of hers for a long time. I'm curious what you see different about her body, her game right now.
She's just aggressive. I mean, she's been that way since she's been young, but just the way she leads this team, and obviously as a competitor, these are the games that you live for, and I'm bummed to miss it, but just awesome to be a part of it still.
So Paige, I'm interested to know what has happened with Nika Mule. Has it been your coaching, any of your advice? Because she's turned into this two-way threat, lockdown defender, and piling up the assist as well.
Nah, she's always been that way, but I think it's more just, I mean, she's really had to step up. Obviously that I've been out, but she's the main point guard of this team. But she's just a great leader, and I think she's really matured in a lot of ways. But her just being an upperclassman now and taking over this team, I think has been really crucial for us.
AZ Fudd is one of your best friends. What has really grown with her game so far this season?
Her confidence, obviously her being healthy, but just the way she approaches the game, and she works the hardest. But just her confidence, I think, is the biggest thing that's grown from her freshman year to now.
Well, Paige, thanks so much for spending a couple minutes with us. We wish you all the best as you continue to recover. We look forward to seeing you back on the court. We don't mind you as a hype woman, but we enjoy watching you play. Thanks so much,
me
Paige.
as well. Thank you.
Paige Becker's Player of the Year as a freshman for UConn. Battled injury last year, came back to lead UConn to yet another Final Four, their 14th in a row, and she'll be back on the floor sometime soon. She's got to love what she's seen from Aaliyah Edwards here in this first half. 10 points already for Edwards.
Iowa came out after that timeout, was in a zone. This last possession, they were back into man-to-man, but both times Aaliyah Edwards was able to get good looks, missed it against the zone, made that one there. She's playing really well.
Caroline Ducharme into the game for Connecticut in place of Lou Lopez-Seneschal, who picked up her second personal foul a moment ago. Off the miss, it's rebounded by Marshall for Iowa.
Connecticut playing really well offensively, and AZ Fudd's taking 2 shots. You know, as much attention as she gets because she's such an elite shooter, this is a well-balanced Connecticut team, well-balanced on the other side as well. Gabby Marshall hitting the 3, much needed for Iowa.
141st three-pointer of her career. 3-year starter for this Iowa team. Brings the Hawkeyes within 4. Griffin left open.
That spot on the floor has been good to Connecticut's post so far today.
They like that mid-range spot.
Or they've been good to the spot. I'm not sure which one.
They've made the spot look good. Huskies want to run off the turnover. Fudd back outside. Ducharme trying to find her game. Missed the season opener because of neck tightness. Not at 100% yet as she works back up. Played 22 minutes, season high last time out against Duke. Now Griffith switched out to Caitlin Clark. Aubrey Griffin, really good defender. Sinano trying to knock her off. Clark for 2. Mule had it knocked away by Sinano, be Connecticut basketball.
Just an incredible block by Aubrey Griffin on this possession. And how did Paige Beckers feel about it? She can multitask. She can talk to us, celebrate her team.
I was afraid Paige may be a little subdued live on ABC with the microphone, but I think we've learned that there is no subdue switch on Paige, right?
No chill?
No chill. Ayanna Patterson is into the game for Connecticut. There she is fighting on the glass, but getting called for the foul. Freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
That's what Patterson does, though. She brings energy. She'll get after it defensively. She attacks the glass.
Hannah Stuelke's into the game for Iowa. 6'2" freshman from Cedar Rapids. Leah Edwards. We expected a heavyweight fight. She's got the ice in the corner right now. Wide open look. Can't leave her wide open. That's Marshall. Doesn't hit this time. It's into the hands of Mule. Final minute of the first quarter. AZ Fudd has not contributed so far.
Small lineup for Connecticut on the floor. Iowa, get the ball inside to Sanano if you can. Maybe here on the pick and roll.
Fudd is 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from outside the three-point line. We saw her hang around here as long as possible at the Moda Center yesterday, trying to work on her shot. Seemed a little off, but without AZ Fudd scoring, UConn is on top by 6 over Iowa after 1. ABC's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Nike. Just do it. Well, it's a big day. Just across the courtyard from us, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Got a game taking place there. We got a game here at Moda Center. You can check out that game on ESPN2, as it has been just a fantastic week here in Portland. Games at the Chiles Center as well. It's just been nonstop basketball. Wrapping up with championships here today. 4 taking place here at the Moda Center. Bill Knight Women's Invitational Bracket will wrap up here in this building, 7:30 Eastern Time at the Moda Center. Iowa State taking on North Carolina. So our 2 women's championships, Rebecca Lobo, are 2 top 10 matchups, because Iowa State and North Carolina are 2 top 10 teams as well.
Good basketball on if you're a women's fan today, and that was, we talked about it before the end of the quarter. Connecticut has a small lineup on the floor right now. Iowa got a back screen to get Sanano into the block to take advantage of it.
Coach Bluter in that last timeout was getting on them about their unforced turnovers, 5 unforced turnovers, playing uncharacteristic. She also pointed out several players that they can drive on for UConn, plus more screening needed in their offense. Just want to get back to playing like themselves. They withstood that early nerves and flurry. Wants them to settle down.
And settling down, Holly, right now, I would keep going to Sanano. Connecticut has a small front court on the floor right now.
They go to Warnock inside, but a quick shot and 1 and done.
It worked 2 possessions ago. You back screen Sanano into the block, run it again, or run a similar action. Get her a touch.
Edwards on the bench right now for UConn. Ayanna Patterson is their size right now. That goes through the hands of Patterson to Ducharme. 5 to shoot.
This zone is bothering Connecticut right now.
They're not going to get a shot off. A tie-up, possession arrow will keep it with Connecticut, but 2 to shoot. Edwards and Lopez Seneschal will come into the game. Remember, Lou Lopez Seneschal with 2 personal fouls.
That's the first possession we've seen Connecticut look a little bit unsure on the offensive end of the floor, and it's because Lisa Bluter is switching her defenses in a zone that time.
UConn gets a good look as the shot clock expires, rebounded by Clark. Clark on the run with the push and the finish. 8 points for Clark. Iowa gets a turnover, and the Hawkeyes have turned the tide here in Portland.
Gabby Marshall came into this game shooting 22% from three. She picked a good one to bust out of that deep slump.
Second of the first half. Griffin puts it on the floor. Strong take to the basket against Clark for two. Clark, tough shot. She makes tough shots. And she'll go to the line to try to finish off a three-point play.
And who is the foul on? Caitlin Clark. We talked about it earlier. Her ability to get to the free throw line. What an incredible finish. She's falling, still able to get it to drop. Led the nation a season ago in free throws made.
The foul on Griffin, so that's her first. Lou Lopez-Seneschal was in the area. That was your question.
Yes.
It would have been her third personal foul. Connecticut still playing without Dorka Juhas, suffered a broken thumb. She'll be reevaluated when the team gets back to Connecticut after wrapping up here today. Edwards knocked away by Senano. Good defensive play, still UConn ball.
Great activity defensively by Iowa. Just because you're in a zone doesn't mean it's time to stand around, and they're moving and they have active hands as well.
You saw that hand taped up for Dorka Juhas with the thumb injury. Fudd trying to get it going. Well off the mark again. AZ Fudd is 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 4 from the three-point line. And look at Iowa in transition for three. Timeout called by Connecticut.
Iowa has found their groove here early in the second quarter. 13-2 so far in this quarter in favor of Iowa.
ABC's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. It's the best place to get everything you need for the holidays.
Kev, Carolyn, and Andrea coming up at the half. We'll check in on #1 South Carolina, plus reveal the newest members of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. How's that zone, Carolyn, impacting this game for Iowa right now?
Well, one of the things that Connecticut got used to early on was against a man cutting back door and getting movements when a double team happened under zone. Hey, Connecticut's going to have to knock down some outside shots.
And Iowa's been knocking down those outside shots. That defense turning into offense. They're getting looks early in their offense. It's paid off.
What a start to this second quarter for the Hawkeyes as we send it back to Portland. Guys?
Kev, thanks. Carolyn, I hope you get some good news at halftime. The news has not been great for AZ Fudd here so far today. She is 0 for from the field, 0 for 5 overall, 0 for 4 from outside the three-point line. She has not scored, averaging 26 points a game. Holly, you were in that huddle.
Well, Gini Orema is frustrated with his team's lack of aggressiveness right now. He said Iowa's getting down the floor in transition, creating turnovers. They're running. We're basically walking the ball up, being slow, and we're working on hopes and prayers right now. We're hoping and praying that we're good instead of making ourselves good. We want more activity. They're looking for more flash screens, get into places where they can get jump shots, more charge screens, get the ball moving.
Fudd still looking as Edwards against 3 Iowa players gets the offensive rebound.
But the longer Fudd misses from the perimeter, the longer Iowa can stay in their zone as long as they can rebound out of it.
So Fudd looks for something in the mid-range game, and she gets it. Her first points of the game for Connecticut. She had missed her first 6 field goal attempts. Good defense by UConn, and here come the Huskies. Edwards handled it for a long time and fed it inside for the 2.
And when Iowa went on the run at the beginning of the quarter, they were the ones getting out in transition. They were the ones getting their early offense. Such a focus for them yesterday in their practice, getting back in defensive transition.
Griffin and Edwards into double figures for Connecticut. Fudd kicks it outside for Mule. Mule's 3 is off the mark.
Good box outs. Good box out by Warnock. Oh, did you see the separation she created with the step back going left? Mule was right there 1 second and not the next.
"13 points for Caitlin Clark. Great defense by Caitlin Clark.
It was great defense by Clark to get around the screen that Mule was trying to set, and then the cherry on top was the block.
Martin looking for another three, and she finds it. Kate Martin with her second three-pointer. Iowa is tearing up the Huskies from outside the three-point line. They are 5 for 13 on threes. UConn is 0 for 9 on three-pointers. Fudd for Griffin, double team. She's in trouble, and she gets out of trouble, but only for a split second. Good defense again from Iowa. Can they turn it into offense again?
Once again, Connecticut looking unsure. Credit that Iowa zone.
Warnock had to slam on the brakes. Back to Martin. 4.5 to go here in the first half. They switch out. Lopez Seneschal on Clark. 5 to shoot. Warnock turns, looking for another three. Sinano's got a long rebound. And a second chance here for the Hawkeyes. They have outscored Connecticut 18-6 here in the second quarter.
Great job navigating that trap.
Clark off balance, fading and leaning. Caught the iron.
I mean, look at the separation here. Nika Mule's right there. Step back now. She has the space she needs. There's no space on the other end. She fights around Mule, number one, and then with the block defensively. Just a great series by Caitlin Clark.
Iowa last year put up the points. They're showing us they can get stops on the defensive end. Holly.
Caitlin Clark didn't play with USA basketball this summer, so she had an entire summer to just work on her body and her abilities. She really focused on her footwork and agility drills. She said, I was doing an hour and a half a day, and it's really showing that step back to gain space, the defensive foot movement, those agility drills paying off right now for Caitlin Clark.
Because, there's been no criticism at all of her offensive game throughout the course of her college career. If there's any, it would be defensively and navigating her foot speed and keeping players in front of her. So certainly something that she has worked on.
Ducharme, good find inside Aaliyah Edwards. Having a good tournament here in Portland. She's leading UConn with 12. Approaching 3 minutes to go in the first half. Phil Knight Legacy Championship game here at the Moda Center in Portland. Well, Nika Mule did all she could defensively, but Clark beats good defense. We've seen that for 3 years now.
Clark's just one of those players. You can have the best one-on-one defender on her, and sometimes it simply doesn't matter.
Trying to find some answers here. This is an Iowa team that has been criticized for what they've done defensively through the years, but you can't find much fault in what they've done defensively here today against Connecticut.
Caitlin Clark is just special offensively, absolutely special, and so good going to her left side with that step back again. Nika Mule is an outstanding defender, and Clark able to create the space to get that shot off.
Two-time first-team All-American, two-time Dawn Staley Award winner, and a stop for Iowa. Shot clock violation, and it will be Iowa basketball. Big day for Iowa State. They've got the women in the championship game in the Phil Knight Invitational. The men taking on UConn. Big day for Iowa State. Big game for the two Connecticut programs. That championship coming up later tonight here at the Moda Center. Kate Martin has had a really big quarter here. 8 points now for Martin.
UConn in the zone that last possession, and nobody got out to Martin.
Clark saw that pass coming all the way. Things just a little loose, a little soft for Connecticut, and Gino Auriemma's calling a timeout, and this is going to be a heated exchange in this huddle probably, because right now it's all Iowa in this second quarter with 1:52 to go.
As much as we've talked about Caitlin Clark's offense so far in this first half, it's been her defense as well. She's done that a couple of times, jumping the route. We've seen her block a shot, goes the other way for the easy two. Iowa has been really locked in on the defensive end and switching their defense. Defenses has gotten Connecticut out of a rhythm. AZ Fudd in particular, she's a player all season to me. When she doesn't have the ball in her hands, has really moved with a purpose and to get open and navigating the offensive end really well. Last few possessions to me, she also has looked out of rhythm, not quite moving with the same purpose as we've seen throughout much of the early part of the season.
1 for 7 shooting, 0 for 5 from outside the three-point line. Again, Iowa sets up in the zone here. It has frustrated Connecticut, trying to find answers, trying to find some scoring with Fudd it being ice cold. So this has been a good solution. Edwards on the turnaround.
Connecticut came out running a stagger away for AZ Fudd, and she curled it, but the zone handled it really well.
UConn's got to find Kate Martin because she keeps finding the bottom of the basket.
Iowa has just been on fire from the perimeter.
4 for 8 on threes this quarter. They've stretched it out to a 9-point lead. They were down 6 after 1. Fudd picked up her dribble with Clark there defensively. Good rebound by Stuelke, the freshman. Well, right now, if you're Lisa Bluter, you got to be thrilled. You're checking some boxes here. You didn't want it to get away from you on the glass. You wanted to bring it on defense, and they have been impressive defensively.
Yeah, we asked her yesterday. She said, I want to see good execution. And wow, they've had terrific execution on both ends.
Aubrey Griffin picks up the foul. That is going to be her second personal foul. So 2 on Griffin, 2 on Lou Lopez Seneschal. Well, we sent out a little bit of good wishes to Carolyn Peck, a nominee for the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. We will have the class of 2023 announcement coming up at halftime with Kevin, Carolyn, and Drea. Now Stuelke, the freshman, bit of an Iowa heat check right there. She was 1 for 4 on the season on threes. Coming in, Ducharme finds the range.
That's huge for Connecticut, because without Seneschal in the game with foul trouble, they needed another player who could hit a 3 against this zone. And we know a season ago when she was healthy, Ducharme was very capable of that.
She had missed her first 4 3-point attempts this season. She knocks that one down. Edwards gets out on Clark. Clark, tough shot to beat the buzzer. It's off the mark, but that quarter belonged to Iowa. They outscored UConn 27-15 in that second quarter, and they are on top 41-35 here at halftime. Lisa Bluter with a little end-of-half coaching for Caitlin Clark. She's got to love what she saw. Let's hear from the Iowa head coach with Holly.
Well, Coach, you had a huddle early in that first quarter telling your team that they weren't being aggressive enough and turning the ball over too much. How did they change this game?
You know, we've been talking all week about having a warrior mentality and that focus, and we felt like those were unforced turnovers that we shouldn't be having, and so we're kind of defeating ourselves in that purpose, because you can't turn the ball over UConn. It's an automatic score.
AZ Fudd, you've done a nice job on her defensively. What's worked and what can continue?
You know, Kate has a little bit more height, and so I think that's bothering her a little bit, but just trying to be with her on every catch. She's such a phenomenal player. We just don't want to let her get hot.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Caitlin Clark with 17 points to lead Iowa to a 6-point lead at halftime here in the Phil Knight Legacy Championship. Back to the studio. Here's Kevin, Carolyn, and Andrea. When you look at that third line down there with Connecticut,
That line right
on
there.
cue. 1 for 10. They missed their first 9 field goal attempts. I just looked across the court a moment ago. Gino Auriemma was having a very animated conversation with you, Holly Rowe. What was he saying?
Well, he said Iowa is doing a really good job standing there being aggressive on defense, but we're helping them because we're standing there not being aggressive on offense. He is looking for movement. He wants them to get back in transition better. That was a great cut by Aubrey Griffin there, getting to the basket, but he wants more movement. That goes for the zone, flashing to that free throw line area to get the ball inside better against this zone that Iowa's been playing. And then as for getting AZ Fudd involved, he said she is standing there, not making quick decisions when she has been open. He wants her to get a better quick decision when she's got to look, and then to move more without the basketball, get some cuts going.
And Holly, they had that good decision making early in the game going against the zone. They were comfortable there. Izzy Fudd was comfortable there, and then, or against the man. And then when Iowa went into the zone, that's when things got a little more stagnant. As far as Izzy Fudd, Coach Rama's not going to be mad if she just shoots it every time she touches it. They want her to shoot the ball more, even if she has a slow start to a game.
He just said a couple of weeks ago, he always wants you to shoot more. He doesn't care if it's 20, 30, or 40 shots. If you're a shooter, that's music to your ears.
She's got the prettiest stroke in the country.
I mean, when Steph Curry is wearing your jersey to his press conference, I'll tell you what kind of shot she's got. Marshall, 6 to shoot. Kate Martin had a really good second quarter, and with 2 on the shot clock, a foul is called on Connecticut.
And Izzy Fudd played terrific defense and then made the little mistake at the end. How about the cross-court pass, though, by Monica Sonano? Gabby Marshall was over there jumping up and down, wide open, and Sonano was the one who found her.
Here's Clark. As we mentioned, struggling to find the range from outside the three-point line. Warnock. That won't drop, and a rebound by Lou Lopez Seneschal, held to 2 points in the first half, picked up a couple of fouls in the first quarter. Fudd with 2 in the first half. That one that drops in. She was 1 for 8 from the field in the first half, and as we mentioned, 0 for 5 from outside the three-point line.
Yeah, she's gonna need to do that. Seek shots, whether it's a quick dribble pull-up, she just has to seek shots.
Martin, tough shot. She scored all 11 of her points in the second quarter, helping Iowa to a 6-point lead at halftime. Mule into Griffin, who gets tied up. Possession arrow will keep it with Connecticut.
Izzy Fudd just, bobbing behind Aaliyah Edwards to get to her mid-range shot. That's seeking a shot. They need her to do that more.
Baseline out of bounds play, an open look for Lou Lopez Seneschal. She's got 4. 2-point game. Clark with the drive and the kick, and Martin stays hot.
I want to be a three-point shooter on a team with Caitlin Clark. She drives in a little bit. Everybody's going to collapse on her, and then Martin with the wide-open 3.
That turned you into a good three-point shooter?
Well, number 1, I want to be a three-point shooter. Then number 2, I want to be a three-point shooter on a team with her.
You're asking for so much.
I know.
Rebecca.
Christmas is coming, though.
That's right. Put it on your list. Let's see what Santa does. Off the turnover, Clark. Beautiful find. And the finish by Warnock.
Warnock's been really, really good today. She was great the last time these teams met in the Sweet 16. Great job running the floor.
Fudd looks it from mid-range again. Sonano is the only player on the floor for Iowa who is not a three-point threat. Everyone else will take and will usually make threes as Warnock knocks it down from deep.
Her shots weren't necessarily falling in the first half. They are here in the second, Warnock's, but she was working hard and doing some other things, and now she has found her stroke.
Turnover, mistake by Connecticut, taken away by Iowa. Clark to Sonano, back outside to Martin for 3.
Sonano delivered that pass on the money. You know how hard that is to do when you're falling out of bounds? Her teammates know.
This Iowa starting 5 has been together for 3 years. They know where each other is at all times, it seems, and they have forced UConn to take a timeout. It's an 11-point game.
How about when your 6'4" center falling out of bounds can deliver a dime right into the shooter's pocket? All right, Kate Martin.
Following us here at the Moda Center, championship game for the Phil Knight legacy, the Duke Blue Devils in the title game. 8th-ranked Duke taking on undefeated Purdue. Duke beat Xavier on Friday. Jeremy Roach at 21. Purdue with a win over Gonzaga. Zach Edey had 23 in that game. 3:30 Eastern time on ABC. The Phil Knight Legacy Championship. And the man himself is here, courtside at the Moda Center. There's Phil Knight, co-founder of Nike, taking in the hoops.
He's got some good hoops to take in.
Iowa on a run right now, an 11-2 run right now. Kate Martin's been a big part of it, Holly Rowe.
Well, she's having the game of her life right now. I was talking to her Aunt Julie in the stands, and she said she has wanted to be a Hawkeye since she was 5 years old. She would come and watch them in their arena, and she has wanted to do this. She didn't know she'd ever be good enough, but she kept working, and here she is wearing a Hawkeye jersey, having the game of her life against UConn. What a story.
17 points for Martin. Her season high before today was 6. Good defense by Ducharme into the game for Connecticut, and it's saved by Edwards.
Only Holly Rowe in the middle of the game is going to go somebody find. Is your Aunt Judy or Aunt Julie? Julie.
I think Holly does have the family tree for all players on hand at all time, just for moments like this when Kate Martin is going off. Fudd now with 8 points, 6 coming in the second half. Too strong for Clark. Ducharme with the rebound. Fudd, little hesitation. This is where her offense has been right now. Mid-range game.
Mid-range, and she's using her dribble really effectively, and give her credit because she struggled to make shots in the first half, and give her credit for staying with it here in the third quarter.
Marshall tries to take Lou Lopez Seneschal off the dribble, but UConn a little bit better defensively here as Iowa has put 52 on the board, and we still have 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Good drive, and Seneschal gets beat, but uses her long arms to get the block from behind. Oftentimes blocks come because you've gotten beat on the drive. I know that from experience.
So you haven't forgotten it. Some things you don't forget.
No.
Martin with the skip over to Marshall, launches a 3. Mule with the rebound. Dropped it off. Ducharme with a head of steam to the basket. Just wouldn't drop, but a good job on the glass by Ayanna Patterson into the game for Connecticut for her first points.
How about Patterson? It felt like she hung in the air for a while until the ball landed in her hands.
Clark looking for her first 3. Still looking. Fudd with the rebound, and the door ajar here for Connecticut after falling behind by 11. Fudd makes the pass again. It's Patterson.
That door's not ajar. That door is getting kicked in right now by Connecticut. Iowa needs a good possession here to break this 8-0 UConn run. Again, small lineup in for Connecticut in the front court. Look to Sonano. There you go.
Just wouldn't drop. Usually she gets it in there, it's all over. That one just rolled right out. Now Fudd found the range inside the arc. Now she's in rhythm, and she connects for the first time outside the three-point line. And we're tied at 52.
Welcome to the Phil Knight Legacy Championship. AZ Fudd. Hello, third quarter.
ABC's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. It's the best place to get everything you need for the holiday.
True story. If you want to stand out, you have to cross enemy lines. Ohio State, Duke, North Carolina, Indiana. Experience the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Begins Wednesday at 7:15 on ESPN.
AZ Fudd has been a different player offensively here in the third quarter, seeking out her shots. It started in the mid-range, off of the dribble, getting the feel of watching the ball go through the hoop, and then the exclamation mark right there before the Lisa Bluter timeout as she drains the 3. A very different AZ Fudd here in the third quarter.
Very different UConn team after falling behind by 11. You see the numbers for Fudd scoreless in the first. Had 2 at halftime, now a total of 13 points. Went 1 for 8 from the field in the first half. So Iowa was up 11. Gino Auriemma took a timeout. Now his team is on an 11-0 run. It forced an Iowa timeout. Let's see what the Hawkeyes do with this possession.
They're trying to isolate Sonano on the right block, but Connecticut's help side defense is there.
Aubrey Griffin back into the game for Connecticut. Shot clock is now down to 7. Clark working with Sonano. Clark gave it up, down to 1. Deep 3, Warnock to beat the shot clock.
That was 29 seconds of really, really good defense by Connecticut, and then a shot maker just making a tough shot.
Now Marshall trying to defend AZ Fudd, gets a screen from Griffin, and now she is hot.
This feels like second half versus Texas AZ Fudd right here.
Fudd went for 32 in that game. She had 17 in the fourth in the win against the Longhorns. Martin to Warnock. Warnock. Aubrey Griffin gets called for the foul.
Connecticut did a great job defensively, keeping the ball out of the post. 29 seconds of good D, and McKenna Warnock says, yeah, nice 29, I've got 1 of good offense. And then on the other end, AZ Fudd uses the screen, defense goes behind. You never go behind an on-ball screen with AZ Fudd.
Warnock at the free throw line. Griffin now with 3 personal fouls, so 3 on Griffin, 2 on Lopez Seneschal for Connecticut. No one with more than 1 for Iowa. Griffin is out. Edwards is on. Nika Mule closing in on another double-digit assist night. She's got 9.
Triangling 2 right now, and you see Caitlin Clark was face guarding Seneschal, and Marshall was face guarding AZ Fudd, and somehow Seneschal still able to get the shot.
Tied at 57. And that's going to be a traveling violation on Iowa as Warnock travel.
Last possession, you see triangle in 2 by Iowa. Face guarding the 2 guards for Connecticut. They're still in that here, so now you can still run screening action for those players using AZ Fudd as a screener.
Or you can find Aaliyah Edwards.
Yeah, right at the top. Yeah, and it's the player who sets the screen often is the player who's open for the shot. So Edwards set the screen for Fudd, and then she was able to look and catch the ball.
First points for Aaliyah Edwards here in the second half, now with 16. Marshall kicks it out to the open shooter. Patterson with a rebound. She's been good in her minutes off the bench here in the third quarter. Mule to Edwards, knocked down by Warnock. Second foul on Warnock. You hear Nika Mule sorting out traffic. She is into double figures now with 10 assists. 15 against NC State, 10 against Duke in her last 2 games leading up to this one. Fudd had a little bit of an opening. Breakdown defensively for Iowa, and AZ Fudd takes advantage. 18 points for Fudd. Now Caitlin Clark. Clark hasn't scored here in the second half. And Patterson gets called for the foul, bodying up against Sonano.
So we've seen AZ Fudd in the mid-range. We've seen AZ Fudd hit 3s in here. Hesitation, gets inside, hitting inside as well.
Well, AZ Fudd had a moment last year. We saw at the Final Four in practice before the championship game in tears. And Gino Auriemma has worked with her on her mentality. She's a perfectionist. She wants everything to be right. So this cold-blooded killer out here, 16 points in the third quarter. This is the step he was looking for. She's moved on to the next play and playing great.
And part of that, Holly, right, is being healthy and confident. It's really hard to be confident and feeling good about yourself when you're not 100% healthy. She is this year.
And then you can see there in the defensive end, she came in to help as well, just showing that well-rounded game as she continues to elevate her play. Fully healthy here in her sophomore year after missing time last year with the injury, battling the foot injury. And that's going to be a foul against Connecticut as Edwards got tangled up with Warnock.
We've talked this season about how Aaliyah Edwards has kind of returned to the dominant player she was as a freshman. And when she was a freshman, Gino Auriemma called her a human offensive foul because of how aggressively she posts up. That was a little...
that was a flashback?
That was, yes, a flashback to freshman year right there.
Last year, 8 points, 5 rebounds a game. Played well in the Big East tournament. But as a freshman, better than 10 points a game. 6 starts that year, and she has been a big piece of Connecticut's success so far this season. 4-0 wins over Texas, over Duke, over NC State, now taking on 9th-ranked Iowa. Clark, Mule there, holding her ground defensively. Good job by Nika Mule, and the shot clock expires. Still time for UConn here, 8.4 to go in the quarter.
Yeah, both teams were running down as if it was the end of the quarter. You still got time. Give maybe AZ Fudd a touch, maybe?
Fudd lost the handle. Who touched it last? Connecticut did. Now there's plenty of time for Iowa.
That was great defense. Gabby Marshall got around. That's the reason Fudd lost the handle. Gabby Marshall right there.
Sonano into the hands of Clark. She is magical, especially from the logo, but not this time. I thought maybe, just maybe, it was going to drop, because we've seen that before. 61-57, Connecticut. They were down 6 at halftime, but they have a strong third quarter. Speaking of strong, Zach Edey coming off his 23-point game for Purdue, set to take on Duke next here in Portland. AZ Fudd, 5th in the nation in scoring, averaging 26 points a game, was 1 for 8 in the first half, but she was locked in the third quarter, 7 for 7 from the field, 16 of her 18 points coming in the third quarter, and UConn on top after 3, 61-57. As a team, Connecticut was 12 of 14 from the field. You see the breakdown for Fudd, and Caitlin Clark held in check in the third quarter. Scoreless in the third, Holly Rowe.
Well, Caitlin Clark was just the voice in that huddle for Iowa that told her team, look, our offense was flowing when our defense was getting stops. We win this fourth quarter by getting stops right now. And then she said, hey, I've got a girl glued to my face at every moment. Somebody come and help me. Set a back screen. That helps get you open. We've got to have more movement and get this person off of me that's glued onto me right now.
That glued girl is Nika Mule.
Based on my experience, it's never good to have anything glued to your face. And a great decision. Get the ball inside to Sonano. That gives Clark a second to relax and where you want to go to get your high percentage look.
Sonano with the basket on one, and Mule doesn't gamble to get the rebound as Marshall picks it up for Iowa. Warnock ran out of room. Mule, good help, forces a turnover. Ducharme, Mule finds Fudd.
What a next level pass though by Nika Mule across her body to the other side of the floor.
How about Mule's work on the other end here defensively against Caitlin Clark, who works hard to get to the free throw line, looking for her first points of the second half.
We saw Iowa have success in the second quarter when they were able to push in transition, get open looks in the secondary. And then here, Caitlin Clark pushing in transition again.
Clark now 4 for 6 from the free throw line. Foul on Mule, her second personal foul. First points of the second half for Clark. So Warnock will check in. Big spot here for the freshman, Hannah Stuelke, who comes into the game for Iowa.
And I think Nika Mule was frustrated last possession. I think she thought that Caitlin Clark may have shuffled her feet inside.
Ducharme, three-point attempt won't drop for Lopez Seneschal, and Sonano has a rebound.
And Iowa back to the zone that was so effective in the first half.
Clark leans in, can't get it. The freshman comes up big on the offensive glass, Stolke.
I really like Stolke. Watching games early in this season, this is a freshman with a lot of promise.
Bud, Clark got hands in there. Ducharme.
Much like the first half against the zone as well, missing three-point looks.
Marshall back out to Clark. 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. 2-point lead for Iowa. How Clark loves that matchup with Ducharme, but she just does not love what's happened outside the three-point line today. 0 for 8.
And it was a good job by Aaliyah Edwards to hedge until Ducharme could recover.
You just saw the frustration. You see that look of frustration. Caitlin Clark, Gabby Marshall trying to keep her up. Caitlin talking to herself a little bit after missing another 3. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for Clark. Big screen set by Mule. Bud can't connect. UConn's gone cold here, and a foul is called on Iowa.
Stolke knowing she needs to box out, keep Connecticut off the glass. Trying to do that here, but has the arm out, impeding Aaliyah Edwards.
Off the hands of Lopez Seneschal, turnover, Connecticut, Iowa ball. Twelve turnovers for the Huskies, 8 for Iowa. Back and forth showdown here for the Phil Knight Legacy Championship in Portland. Stolke, Senano, Martin wide open for another 3.
Where's Aunt Julie? She has had a masterful game. Kate has, not Aunt Julie.
I think Aunt Julie's loving it too. Fudd answers with a quarter 3 for UConn. Back and forth we go. 21 for AZ Fudd, 19 coming in the second half. Martin, who has established a new career high, her previous career high 19. She's got 20. Senano leans in on Edwards, and a blocking foul is called.
Wow. This looks absolutely like an offensive foul to me. Watch how Senano lowers her shoulder right into Aaliyah Edwards. Edwards, you can be moving your feet. Wow, I am stunned that that was not called an offensive foul. Aaliyah Edwards moving her feet, staying vertical. Wow.
Well, in a weird twist, I was at Iowa last year during football season, and I stopped in to watch the Iowa women's basketball lift weights. Monica Senano is an absolute beast in the weight room. They lift such heavy weights. I was incredibly impressed with how strong this team is. Their athletic strength and performance coach, Lindsay Allen, does a great job with them, but you saw Monica's strength on that. Put the shoulder down. They are so impressive. They blew me away in the weight room.
Holly, you never stop working. You never, ever stop working.
That's partying for Holly Rowe. A much needed answer from Aaliyah Edwards there.
Edwards with the hoop. 18 points now for Aaliyah Edwards. 20 is her season high, came against NC State. Clark turned it over. Stolen by Ducharme, but then given away, and Iowa gets it right back.
Couple big defensive plays by Gabby Marshall in this game. That's the second time we've seen her get a steal in the backcourt here. We saw her disrupt AZ Fudd a few possessions ago. She has been solid.
It's what she does. 50 steals or more in each of the last 2 seasons. Ducharme finding her game here for Connecticut.
Best Ducharme has looked all season.
She's got 8. 1-point game. Clark to Marshall. Edwards.
Aaliyah Edwards hedged out to trap on Caitlin Clark and still was able to recover for that defensive board.
Ducharme, extra pass. Lou Lopez Seneschal drains the 3. Mule knocked it off of Stolke's leg. Connecticut basketball.
The defense for Connecticut the last couple of possessions has been absolutely stellar. And let's start with their big, Aaliyah Edwards. Jumping out here, trapping Caitlin Clark, and then what? Sprints back to get that defensive board. That is just sheer effort by the junior.
Inside of 5 to play. Edwards lost the handle, got it back. It got 2.
All we expected, Eric. All we expected from this game.
You asked Monica Sonano and Caitlin Clark yesterday what they hope to accomplish here today, and they just wanted to show how much fun this game is, how high a level it's played at, and I think we have seen that here today. There's Ducharme on the defensive end against Martin. Fudd, hesitation, kick for 2. Lopez Seneschal's into double figures now with an 11. Oh, run for UConn.
Talk about fun. Did you see the smile on Lopez Seneschal's face after draining that shot? We like watching the bigs. We like watching the littles. Here's a big. Aaliyah Edwards just beautifully done over her right shoulder, and then Lopez Seneschal pump fake gets it. Big smile follows.
We are just getting started here in Portland for championship games today, including the championship game for the Phil Knight Invitational. It comes up 7:30 Eastern time on ESPN2. North Carolina and Iowa State, a top 10 showdown then, a top 10 showdown now that has not disappointed, and we've got 4:15 to go. UConn on a run right now to stretch it out to a 6-point game.
And what normally happens in these moments, and in big games that are tight late, a player steps up and has a magical finish or makes some big shots. And of course, for Iowa, Caitlin Clark's the most likely candidate, and for Connecticut, Azzi Fudd is. It's why both of them are in the conversation. I know it's early, but in the conversation for Player of the Year.
Clark with 19 points, but it's Martin leading the way with 20, a career high. Azzi Fudd with 21 to pace UConn. Edwards right behind her with 20. Iowa basketball out of the timeout. Martin against Ducharme.
Trying to overload the right side of the floor to get a touch for Sonano.
Clark to Martin. Martin, tough drive. No, Ducharme with the rebound. Ducharme with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in her best game of the season for Connecticut. Can she add to what's been a great game? The answer is yes. Double figures now, 11 points, and UConn's on top by 9.
And that's the answer for the zone that Connecticut has had here in the second half that they didn't in the first, was multiple players and their ability to hit from 3.
Sonano away from the basket, draws a crowd. Now Clark. Clark couldn't get it to drop, and Edwards rips away the rebound.
Another really good defensive possession for Connecticut, and Ducharme has good size, so when she switched off on the Clark, it made things challenging for Caitlin.
Connecticut using a little clock here as we go inside of 3. Shot clock now down to 8. Edwards will try it. Warnock's got the rebound. Both teams have gone on multiple runs. Can Iowa answer back with another run? It's Warnock who can't hit, but Sonano's got an offensive rebound and a second chance here for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, she was looking for a teammate to cut through the lane.
Viola's done a great job on Clark, but Clark is left open for the deep 3!
Leah Edwards, that was supposed to be a switch, and she started to pull back after initially stepping out. You can't make that mistake because Caitlin Clark will make you pay.
Larkin missed her first 8 3-point attempts. Edwards over the back of Martin, back out to Fudd, who answers with a 3.
Hey, Martin saying, how is that not an over the back?
Ball's on the floor and kicked by Edwards. Lisa Bluter looking for an explanation.
Caitlin Clark using the on-ball screen and Nika Mule switches it. Aaliyah Edwards drops. She's supposed to come out and contest.
Warnock against Ducharme. Ducharme gets called for the foul.
How important, though, has Caroline Ducharme been in this game today?
Back to that easy Fudd 3 after the second chance, and Fudd now with 24 points. Again, she had 2 points.
And a great decision.
1 of 8 shooting in the first half.
Yeah, great decision on an offensive board, always, to pass it out to your three-point shooter.
Foul on Ducharme, her first. (14) for Warnock. Less than 2 minutes ago in the fourth. UConn on top of Iowa by 8. Ducharme stays hot.
What a great play. Caroline Ducharme has good size.
Clark steps into a deep 3. It's never over if Caitlin Clark has some time and some space, and space for her is out to half court, as we can see. 25 for Clark. And a traveling violation, Iowa basketball.
How far away from the hoop is this one? How about Caitlin Clark just inside the logo? It would have been a logo if the logo was simply bigger. Yeah, and her teammates feeling it.
Closing in a minute ago, here's Edwards.
So that's what you're supposed to do.
And an offensive foul called on Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Edwards there defensively.
We saw the replay earlier of her stepping off after the switch. This time she switches out, and what makes Aaliyah Edwards special defensively is that she can stay between a guard and the basket. That time takes it and draws a foul. Elite defense for a post player out on the perimeter.
I mean, how about her line here today offensively? 20 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, and then coming up with winning plays like that against one of the very best players in the country, Caitlin Clark. Iowa picks up pressure.
Yeah, they need to get a stop. They need to get this ball back.
Now they'll settle back now as the clock moves inside of a minute to go here in the fourth quarter. Edwards. That's going to come up short, and here's Clark in transition. Look for her to try a transition 3. Mule out on her defensively. Ducharme to help. Marshall looks for 2 and gets it.
Really good defense by Connecticut. They knew they wanted anybody besides Caitlin Clark taking the shot. Forced a 2 instead of a 3, and then Caitlin Clark Hetty knows that she has to foul. They had 1 to give, so Connecticut still has to inbound the basketball.
Clark picks up her second personal foul.
Oh, another to give. Iowa's got another to give.
That's 3 now on Iowa, Rebecca, so they've got...
Yeah, they got a foul quickly.
34 points, 7 to go. UConn was up by 6 after 1. Iowa was up 6 after 2. UConn was up 4 after 3. It has been a great showdown here in Portland between third-ranked UConn and ninth-ranked Iowa. We talked about Caitlin Clark and AC Fudd, 2 of the stars of all of college basketball, and they have not disappointed here today.
Caitlin Clark has seen a variety of defenders, many of them bigger than her after a switch, but she has still been able to make some big shots here late in some of these important moments. And AZ Fudd, after struggling in the first half, simply came alive in the second in terms of seeking out her own shot and then finding a flow.
Clark with 25. Her season average is 27. Her career average just under 27. And Fudd came in averaging 26. She's got 24 after scoring just 2 in the first half. So there's the last foul to give for Iowa.
So now Connecticut needs to inbound the ball cleanly. Iowa will look to get a steal initially, maybe a quick trap, and then after that absolutely has to foul quickly.
Ducharme, and the foul is given quickly. Caroline Ducharme 0 for 2 from the free throw line this season. We talked about her struggles. She was really good last year as a freshman. Second team Big East, all freshman team, averaged almost 10 points a game. Had neck stiffness, had an injury in the summer, so she was really limited. 6 total points in her first 3 games this season, and she's got 13 here today. First made free throw for Gino Auriemma's team today. 1 for 3 at the line. $15 for Ducharme, 20 for Edwards, 24 for Fudd. Has to go quickly here for Iowa's Clark. To Warnock, Marshall for 3. No, and Ducharme's got a rebound. And she's fouled.
That was really well done, though, by Iowa. They got a shot up quickly. They wanted to save their last timeout to advance. Got a great look at the basket. Just Marshall couldn't get it to drop.
7-point lead for UConn here in game 1 of 4 at the Moda Center. Coming up next here on ABC, the Legacy Championship for men. Top 25 showdown. Purdue and Duke. Purdue with the win over Gonzaga to get to the championship, stay undefeated. Duke with a victory over Xavier. They'll meet coming up here in just a bit on ABC. That's Ducharme missing at the line. Edwards kept it alive. Ducharme kicked it out of bounds. Iowa ball. 19.3 to go. 7-point game.
Lisa Bluter calling out a play her team knows, still trying to save that timeout.
Sonano. Clark off balance, deep 3, missed. Edwards has the rebound. That is her 13th rebound. Iowa will pull back. UConn will get it across half court, and the Huskies will survive. They thrive in the second half, and they knock off Iowa 86-79 to win the Phil Knight Legacy Championship.
Really impressed by both of these teams here today. We expected the offensive firepower. Both of these teams were really solid on the defensive end of the floor as well.
UConn, elite shooting. Gino Auriemma loves Monica Sonano's game, old school kind of game. Worked hard. The starting 5 gave UConn a good shot. UConn shooting 68% in the second half, and AZ Fudd was red hot in the second half. She's with Holly.
Well, you had 2 points going into halftime. What was the conversation in the locker room, and what did you change in the second half?
Kind of just being aggressive. We didn't play UConn basketball in the first half. We weren't ourselves, so it wasn't just me. It was kind of all the guards in general. We weren't getting our normal looks, so it was kind of run our stuff, play UConn basketball, and don't let what they were doing affect what we do.
Yeah, they were playing that zone. It was hard for you to get some looks. How much more decisive were you getting a quick shot, making your shots better?
Like I said, I just wasn't me the first half. So having my teammates and the coaches kind of remind me at halftime, and them just keep saying, like, shoot the ball, next one's going in, it just clicked. I switched the flip.
Speaking of switching the flip, the defender down low on Cesano, you were so terrific out there today, Aaliyah. How were you able to really control that post in the block?
It starts in practice, and you put the work in practice, and you execute that in game. So that's what I did tonight.
Thank you so much. Go get that trophy. Phil Knight's waiting for you. Let's not keep him waiting.
Aaliyah Edwards with a double-double, 20 points and 13 rebounds, and Phil Knight out at center court waiting for the entire UConn team to gather around so he can present the Phil Knight Legacy Championship trophy. Nika Mule will take it. 13 assists for Mule here today. UConn led by AZ Fudd, who was 9 of 11 from the field in the second half. 22 over 24 after halftime, leading UConn to a win over Iowa. It was entertaining. Still more to come here at the Moda Center. Duke and Purdue coming up in just a bit. More women's hoop later on, but right now let's get you to the studio. Kevin, Andrea and the Hall of Famer.